Okay, so we were talking about if-else conditions, right? If, elif, else. Okay, so I'll just give one more example and then we will move to the next topic, which is our loops. Okay, so for if, elif, else, okay, let's say you have, let's say, I want to check, okay, if number is positive or not. Let's say simple. So let's say I give num equal to 5 and I check if num modulo 2 equal to 0. That means if number is divided by 0, okay, if number is divided by 0, okay, then so we're talking positive, negative, right? Okay, so my mind was somewhere else. So how do you check positive, negative? So you have to check num greater than 0. If num is greater than 0, that means it's positive, right? If num is greater than 0, that means it's positive. So now here you will print and say, okay, number is positive, right? Now, if number is, okay, so what was the else value for this?
Else value.
Yes. So if
Uh,
num is greater than
else
0, it is positive, right? And
yeah.
what will be in else?
If it's less than 0, it's negative.
Okay, it's negative.
So else print
Mhm.
number is negative.
You also have something called as 0, isn't it? Right? So 0 is neither positive nor negative, correct?
Yeah.
So you'll say,
Neither positive nor negative. Yeah.
okay, and then you say else, okay, print it's negative, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So this is your normal program. Now let's say, okay, now I want to check if this number, positive number, I want to check if it is, say, odd or even,
Yeah.
right? So it's only positive numbers that can be odd or even, right? Not
Yeah.
negative numbers. So let's say our requirement is that for positive number we want to check if it is positive or negative, right? So I'm going to check this. Okay, I'm going to say if num mod 2, right? So how do you know it's positive? Sorry, how do you know it's odd? The number, if you divide by 2, remainder is 1, it is odd. So if
Yeah.
I, okay, so mod is the one to connect and get
Reminder.
remainder, right? So if I say if num, okay, modulo 2 equal to 1, okay, then you say print it's negative.
Print.
No,
Yeah.
it's odd.
It's odd number.
It's odd, right? Else,
Yeah.
here only two options, right?
Elif.
Yeah.
Okay. Two
Here one,
condition is there.
only two options, right? There's no third option here, right?
Yeah.
Right?
It's
So you get even. Now, here also, let's say I want to check if number is divisible by 2 and 3. Okay, so I'm introducing new condition. The check if number is divisible by 2 and 3 both. So to check if number is 2 and 3, right? So this is anyway, this means it's divisible by 2. When you divide something by number and a remainder is 0, that means that number is perfectly divisible,
divisible.
right?
Yeah.
So it's even means it is divisible by 2, right? So now I'll check this number. Okay, so if num mod 3 equal to 0, that means, okay, it is divisible by both 2 and 3,
2 and 3.
right? Else, okay, it's not, it's
No.
divisible by 2, but not 3. See, it is even number. Even number is divisible by 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we don't have to put any extra condition to check for divisibility by 2. So instead, we will divide by 3 inside even. Okay. So inside even means it is divisible by 2. So I just have to check for 3. Okay. And if it is divisible by 3, okay, that means it is divisible by both 2 and 3. Right? Okay. Got
Yes,
it?
sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's say I want to check if it is divisible by 2 and 3, is it also divisible by, let's say, 11 or no? Okay, or maybe let's say 6 or 8. So I can put one more condition where when it is divisible by both 2 and 3. So I can put one more if condition here. Okay. So I can say here, if num modulo 6 equal to, okay, 0. Now you see, okay, how do you test for divisibility of 6? See, divisibility of 6 numbers has to be divisible by both 2 and 3.
2 and 3 are divisible. Right.
Right? So here I don't have to check if num modulo 6 equal to 0 because it is divisible by 6. If it is divisible by both 2 and 3, okay, it is also divisible by
Divisible by
6.
both.
Right? Okay,
Right.
so the thing is, before you start coding, you have to look at the approach, look at the problem. And once you know the problem, that's when you get started and you start performing or checking your, okay, or implementing your code. So when you check for the rules of divisibility of 6, you get that if a number is divisible by both 2 and 3, only then it is divisible by 6. Right? So this is how you get it. Make sense?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So this was the last exercise I wanted to do with condition. Okay. And now what we'll do is we will go to the next topic, which is called loops. Okay. I'm going to save this in a file, which I'll share later. Okay. And come back here. Okay. So we're talking about loops, right? So what does loops mean?
Back-to-back cycle.
Yeah, so loop means, so loop means repeating. Okay, you are repeating same thing more than once. Okay, you're repeating same thing more than once. Now let's say I want to did we run the program, right? We didn't run the previous program, right? But yes, you can
No.
run it and you can check yourself. Okay, you do
Okay.
run and check by yourself. Okay, so coming back to this example, okay, so we are talking about repeating multiple lines of code. Okay, now let's say I have something called print hello. Okay, I want to say print hello. Now print hello, I want to repeat it 5 times or 10 times. Okay, so then how do you do it?
Sorry?
Okay, so
Okay.
I want to repeat this 10 times.
Okay.
So how do we do that? Okay,
Uh-huh.
so Python has 2 ways to implement loops or repetition. Okay, first method is when you know how many times you have to repeat it. Okay, so let's say you want to let's say prepare tea. So you are saying boil the water for 5 minutes, right? Sorry. So when you say you boil the water for 5 minutes, it means that you know that you have to boil for 5 minutes. Okay. Now let's say second time, okay, or the second way is, you want to boil it till the water starts boiling. Okay. Now second case, you're not talking about how many minutes. Okay, correct. But you're talking about some condition. So if this condition is met, till then you do it, something like that, right? So
Okay.
this is what happens, okay, when we perform loops. Okay, so one way is you know that, okay, I need to run 10 times. Okay, and second time is when you don't know that you have to run 10 times. Okay, but some condition, okay, has to be true. Okay, so in Python we have two types of loops. Okay, one, when you know how many times to repeat. Okay, so we use what is called as for loop here. Okay, and second is when you don't know how many times. Okay, and but you repeat until some condition is true or false. Some condition is true, so repeat until some condition is true. Okay, so here we use while. Okay, so I'll give you some examples. Let's say if I ask you print hello 10 times. Now print hello 10 times, you know how many times exactly. So it is a case for
Yeah.
loop.
First
Okay, now see, you can implement
for loop.
both. Okay, what generally like the problem I asked you can be implemented both ways. Okay, using for loop also, using while also, but using for loop is better, easier, and faster. So when you know that, okay, you need to repeat it 10 times, it is for loop. Okay, you need to get marks of 10 students. Okay, marks of 3 subjects. Okay, print 5 patterns. Now all these are like numbers, how many times. Okay, 10 students, 3 subjects, 5 patterns. So these are all numbers that you know. So these are your loop
For
using
loop.
for loop.
Yeah.
Okay. Now second time is perform this till user asks. Okay, add all the numbers till you get a minus 99. In this case, I don't know how many numbers are there. When you get minus 99, that's when you stop. Otherwise, you keep taking numbers. Okay, so there has to be some condition, because when you start doing it, you get into something called as infinite loop. Okay, you keep doing, but at some point you have to end it, isn't it? Okay, at some point you have to end it, and that's what we call it as ending criteria, ending condition. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can implement for loop using two condition. Okay, I mean, you can implement loops using two ways. For loop when you know exactly how many times, and while when you know some conditions. So today we'll focus on for loop. Okay, we'll see how to implement for loop. Okay. Okay, so and tomorrow we'll talk about while. So let's say here print hello. I want to print 5 times or 10 times or 8 times. Perfect case for loop. Okay. Now, let's say, okay, so but before we get into loop, okay, let's talk about, something called as range function. So we have spoken about print input function, right? This is another function I'm talking about, range. Typically, range is used with for loop. Okay, the range is used with for loop. So range is a is a function, okay, which generates range of values. Generates range of values. Okay, so how does it generate? So range can take three parameters, A, B, and C. Okay, it means start from A, go up to B. Okay, exclusive. We say up to, not including B, up to B. Okay, so if I give 2 comma 5, A2, B5, it means start from 2 and go up to 4 only, not 5, go up to 4. Okay, one less than, you know, you cannot touch it, you can go up to it. But start value is always including from A. So if I say A comma B, A means start value, B is your ending value, up to value, and C is your increment. C is your increment. Okay. So if I give range of 2, 5, and 2, okay, how many values, what kind of values will it be printed?
Like it start from 2
Hmm?
and up to 4, no?
Correct.
And up to 4,
Increment is 2.
2
That
only,
means
right?
every time you have to increase by 2, 2,
2.
2. So when you have 2, next number will be 2 plus 2,
Okay, got
4.
it.
Next number would be 4 plus 2.
4 plus 2, 6.
But 6 is more than
5.
5. So you don't print 6. You
Yeah,
print only 2 and
2
4.
and 4.
Now if I make it 6, then
Then 5, up to 5, we can only like 2 and 4.
yes,
We will
even if
do
I give 2 comma 6 also, it will print only up to
2
4.
and 4. 4 up to 4.
Exactly. Okay. So this is what happens when you have 3 values. Now range can take 2 values. Range can take 2 values. Okay. When you have 2 values, then these are A and B. Okay. Okay. So if I give 5 comma 9, okay. Okay. So 2 values indicate A and B.
Okay.
C is default 1.
Okay.
C is default 1. Okay. So 5 comma n, you start with 5 and you go all the way up to 9. So 5, 6, 7, 8. This is what it will print. 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry, 8. Okay. It's not going to print 9. It's going to print up to 8. Okay.
Okay. And our increment C is default 1.
Yeah, that's what I told you, right?
Huh. Okay.
C is default 1. C is your increment, isn't it? C equal to
Yeah.
increment, B is ending, A is starting. So when you have 3
Yeah.
values, then you're very clear, A, B, C. But when you have 2 values, okay, that means you
Yeah.
have A and B, you don't have
And
C.
okay. So by default, we can consider 1 as C. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Now what's next? So you can even have range with just one value. You can also have range with just one value. Let's say 5, let's say. So when you have one value, okay, that means it's B. A is default 0 and C is default 1. So if you see range with 3 values, these are A, B, and C. Okay. Starting
Yeah.
value, ending value, and increment. But when you
Huh.
see two values, these are,
We don't have increment.
you don't have increment, which is increment is default 1.
One.
And when you see only one value,
We don't have start point and we don't have increment. So by default, start point is 0 and increment is 1.
perfect. Okay, that's what it means.
Yes.
Okay. So now, how do we use this with loops? Why are you talking about loops? So when you put for loop, I told you for loop is used to print based on given values. You need something that will count the value, isn't it? That
Yeah.
will count, right? So the range does the counting for us. Range does the counting for us. Okay. So what does that mean? So let's see how range does counting for us if you're using for loop. So if you're using for loop, okay, we first command that we type is for. If you're using for loop, the first command that you type is your for. Okay. Then we need a variable that does the counting. Okay, I need a variable. Let's say I give variable I. So variable I is a variable that will do the counting for us. Okay, so okay, great. Now, once we do the counting, okay, from what I will do the counting, but from where to where will I do the counting? Okay, so this is where range is used. So we use something called as in operator. So for I is any variable, okay? It's just any variable. You can put counter A, B, I, K, anything you can put. Okay. So I'm going to say I in range. So I'm saying, okay, for loop, I will take value from range. So range will generate the value and I will take the value from range. Okay. I will take the value from range. Okay. And in is making I take value from range. Okay. And in range, you can give whatever. We have seen how to use range. So let's say I put
3
3,
range.
5. Okay. No, let's make it a little bigger. 2. And that's when you start the block. Okay. So for we have seen, right, for if we have to put colon, right?
Huh.
So you say for range bracket close colon and you give a tab space here.
Okay.
Okay. Tab space means, okay, you are
Tab space means I am into for.
correct. So you are putting this thing inside
For.
for loop. Okay. So you are putting this inside for loop. Okay. That's what colon means. So now the hello is inside your for loop. So how many times hello will get printed?
It's up to 8 time. No?
Count and tell me on fingers.
On fingers, why? Because it's 392. We took the range of 3 number, no? So
Correct.
it start from 3
Correct.
and go up to 8. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6 and increment 2. Um, Sorry, I got confused. 6 number we have, and each number we have 2 plus 2, okay?
Yeah, you can think and tell me.
Um, Sorry, sir, I didn't get it. Like with these numbers. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6 number we have, like start from 3 and
I don't know what happened. Wait one second.
like I have 3, 9 and 2
Uh-huh.
as a range. Okay. I
Uh-huh.
start from 3. So the first number would be 3.
Correct.
Go up to 8.
So go up to is fine. What is second number? 3 plus 2, 5. The first number is 3. Second number is 3 plus 2, 5. Okay.
Okay.
Third number is 5 plus 2, 7. 7
Okay,
plus
okay, got
2.
it.
No,
Okay.
9 will not work. So
9.
you'll have 3, 5,
So
and 7.
7, 3 number. Okay, okay.
Okay. 3,
Yeah.
5, and 7. Okay. So hello will be printed how many times?
3.
3 times. 3, 5, and 7. Okay. So hello will be printed 3 times. Exactly. Okay. And if you want to print the value of I, you can say comma I. Okay. So see 3, 5, and 7.
3, 5, and 7. Okay.
Okay. So this is how you print the range. Now ask a question. I want to print first 10 even numbers.
First 10 even numbers.
Yes. I want to print first 10 even numbers. Okay. So what I'll do is first 10, right? So I will say here for I in range.
range. First 10 to 20.
Okay. So first I in range 10, right? Okay. And your first value is going to be, okay, print I into 2, okay, plus 2, right? Why? Because I will start from 0, isn't it? So first number will be 0 plus 2, 0 into 2, 2.
2.
0 into 2,
Then
0,
2.
right?
0 to 2, 0. Okay.
Right?
Plus
So
2,
if you
0.
want to print 0 also as first number, then you don't have to say plus 2. If you know, then you can say fine 0, 2, 4, 18. But let's say if
Okay.
you want to start from 2, not from 0, then you
Then
can
we
say
have
plus 2.
plus 2.
So it'll start from 2 and go all the way up to 20.
Create it like that. Yeah.
Right. So this is how you can print. Now, okay. So this is how for loop is used. Okay. Now let's say, okay. So see, these are printing in different line. I want to print them in same line. What do I do?
In same line.
Yes. So see, print by default will print in different line. Okay. Print will by default print in different line. Okay. So there is something called an invisible new line. We have seen new line, right? Slash
New
n,
line. Slash n.
backward slash n,
Yeah.
right? So we saw some special, that backward slash gives some power, right? So we have seen slash n slash t, correct?
Right. We did it.
Right? Yes. So what these do is, okay, they give you special, like so the slash n does that new line thing, correct?
Right.
That means your print has invisible new line. Print has invisible new line in it. That's right, it's printing in next line, isn't it? See,
Huh.
we use /n to print in next line. Print is already printing in new line. So that means there is a invisible /n. There
Right.
is a invisible /n. Okay. Right. There's an invisible /n. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to remove that invisible /n. Correct?
Yes.
Something that you don't see. How can we remove it? It's like Mr. India. Do you see Mr. India? No. If you don't see Mr. India, how can you fight with Mr. India? Okay. So you have to first make it visible. So if you have to delete something, how can you delete without seeing? You have to make it first seen, isn't it?
Yeah, right. You
Right?
have
You
to
have
see
to,
first.
yes, you have to make it visible. Once you make it visible, then you will be able to delete it.
Delete it.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
So every print has something called as END command, end. Okay, I'm going to make it visible. End is written at the end. And we say end equal to new line. This is the invisible command which every print has it. So in print, before closing the bracket, before you close the bracket, you have something called as end equal to /n. This is what is printing in the new line. So if you run it, okay, you see it is printing in new line. So this is the invisible. What I did, I made it just visible. I threw the red light. Mr. India would appear on red light. So,
Yeah.
so I made it visible.
But there is no change in output, no?
Correct. So I just made it visible. No, it was there
Okay.
invisible. I made it visible. So
Okay.
so you don't expect any change, right? Because it
No.
is already there. Simply I made it visible, isn't it?
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't do anything else. I just made it visible. Okay. So this is
Yeah.
visible. Now what? Now you delete it.
Okay.
Simple. So you made it visible. Now you delete it. Now you can see that it will be printed in same line.
Okay.
Okay.
So
And whatever
first we
you,
have,
yeah.
like,
And
first we make it to visible, then we have to delete, then it will.
otherwise, how will you delete it?
Right.
Something is already there. You have to remove it. It's not something that we have to add it.
Yeah,
If there
right.
was something that we had to add it, then it's fine. We could add it, but we are not adding it.
Yeah,
We
right.
are
Yeah,
deleting it.
perfect.
Correct? So what we do? We go and we put end equal to, okay?
/n.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay. Okay. And not only that, see, within this end, okay, you can give whatever you want to give. I don't want to give new line. I want to give comma. I want to print into the next line, right? So you give
Huh.
comma.
Right.
If you give comma, it will print in the
Next one.
next line. Perfect. So, you get comma here. So instead of next line, you get comma.
So, in your book, which like I have ordered, उसमें सारे questions होंगे ना, like for practicing.
Yeah.
Like you gave me assignment yesterday, 5 questions. So likewise,
Yeah, yes.
okay, then
Okay,
it would be.
and book will have lot more things than you're going to cover. Okay, so see, Python is used for multiple reasons, multiple things. Python is
Yeah.
used for data analysis, web framework, for automation. So that book
Mm-hmm.
has chapter for everything: automation, web framework, data analysis. But in our course, we are not going to do everything that is in the book.
Yeah, right. We can't cover everything, right? Yes.
Right, yes. So that book, if you want to practice other things in Python, you can use that.
Huh.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hello.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
So we'll do one more example and we'll end it. So let's
Yeah.
say I want to print star. So if I want to print star, I'll simply say print star, right? So if I run it, I'll get a star.
Yes.
Okay. Now you see it is still in the here. So once you are done, you say print /n. Okay. So you get /n here, right? Okay.
Yeah, star in
Now,
new line.
got it. Star is in new line. Okay. Now I want to print 5 stars. So what I'll do, I'll say for I in range 5,
In print 5. Yeah.
right? And this one I have to give a tab space, right?
Tabs. Huh.
Indentation. Now when you run it, you get 5 stars. I want to print these stars in one single line. Okay.
So,
So I can do end equal to,
and
okay, space.
quotation में.
Let's say we give space.
Okay.
So you'll have star space, star space, star space, star space. So you got
Okay.
stars in one line. Okay. Now let's say I want to print square like this. I want to print something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 stars. 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars. I want to print something like this. Okay. Now see, we know that this is going to give us these stars, right?
Yes.
I in range is going to give us 5 stars is printed, correct?
Into 5.
Into 5, right? So what I'll do is I'll say for j in range 5.
5. Yeah.
Okay, because j is going to do the next. But printing is done by I only.
Yeah.
Okay, now when you run it, you see stars are printed in same line.
Same line.
Because we said end equal to, isn't it? So
yeah.
After printing 5 stars, we have to break the line. And then after printing inner loop, you have to break the line. Correct? After printing inner loop, you have to break the line. So you get like this. This is the beginning coming from here. Okay. Okay. So if you give something like this, you will know. So this is the previous output. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the new output. So this is to print the star, then break the line. Then again, it will force it to print next time. Again, print the line, break the line. Okay. So this is called inner loop and outer loop. Okay. For one iteration of outer loop, inner loop has to complete the entire iteration. Then again, outer loop will go for second iteration. And then again, inner loop has to do everything. Then it will go to third iteration, inner loop has to do everything. So that's how you keep repeating, okay, each of these. Make sense?
Yes, got it.
Okay. So sure, we'll stop here. And